All right. Hello, everyone. I can see we have 4 users. I just hope. Can you let me know if the audio, video, stream both are okay? You can use the chat button on the right. It'll be easier for us to communicate this way. So, hi everyone. I'm Karan. I work with the Vedica admissions team, and I'm really glad that all of you have joined the admissions webinar. And it's a great space for everyone to just ask all their queries, ask all their doubts related to the Vedica application, related to the upcoming batch, Vedica in general. So I would really encourage all of you to use the chat bar on the right to ask me all your questions, and we can go from there. We can wait for say a minute or two, let some people build up, and until then, I would encourage you to think of some questions that Vedika that you can think with Vedika. Some questions related to your application, some questions related to careers at Vedika, etc., etc. We're here to troubleshoot for you. So I guess until we're waiting for some of the users to come in, I can speak about some of the most recent happenings at Vedika. Vedica is, as you know, the Vedica Scholars Program. Our mission is to create this community of women leaders, students, mentors, academicians, industry experts, just areas, people from all walks of life that come together to consciously work towards women empowerment at the workforce, reducing gender disparity at the workforce. So, within keeping in mind this mission, keeping in mind these efforts, what we've done is we've recently had a collaboration with Carnegie India, and we've launched the Anahita Speaker Series, which is a monthly speaker series that features an eminent woman leader from a specific field, which is quite where women are quite underrepresented. So we had Durga Raghunath from Zomato for our last talk, and these talks are open to the public as well. We send a lot of information, we send a lot of invites out. So we would love it if potential applicants or already interested students would love to come and join the speaker series. We do send out monthly invites towards the end of the month, so we would love to have a lot of you to to come to the Vedica campus to check it out, to check out what the speaker series is about. So that's something that we have, something that's very interesting for us. Additionally, we have also just completed the GPWL 2019, which is the Global Women Position Leader Summit, one of the largest women leader summits that have happened in India, actually, in collaboration with the DFID, UK's Department for International Development, ORF, Observer Research Foundation, and Vedica. So we organized a conference where it was a week-long conference where women from across, women were coming in from Africa, from Bangladesh, from a lot of SAARC countries, a lot of different countries. A lot of senior women were coming in. They were nominated. There was a huge application process, and these senior leaders were chosen to come, and they spent a week with Delhi. And what happened that each leader was mapped to a Vedika scholar. So Vedika scholars were taking care of these senior women leaders, and this conference covered elements of the themes were technology, healthcare, education, and how all of these themes relate to women empowerment, how all of these themes work towards encouraging and educating everyone that is out there about these particular sensitive topics, and how we can help create a better and reduce a better community and reduce gender disparity in those communities. So the GPWL, to say, was extremely successful. We had sessions with Barka Dutt. We had sessions with Monica Halan. We had sessions with a lot of great industry experts, a lot of great faculty. So it was an amazing experience for the scholars and for the fellows who came in. And we're very thankful. I mean, it's just the first of many things that I think Vedika will, collaborate with, will go ahead with doing. So that's something that's great. Apologies. Again, I would encourage everyone to ask questions on the chat bar. If there's anything specific that you would want to know about Vedica, please do ask some of your questions here. We can be very specific with the live stream over here. So until I guess until the questions start rolling in, I'll start talking more in general about Vedica. So Vedica is, as everyone has seen over here, it's a management practice program for women. It's an 18-month program that's based out of New Delhi, and the program is founded by the founders of ISB, founders of Ashoka University. So we're coming in with a lot of heritage, with a lot of experience, with a lot of passion for education. So, what Vedica is actually a confluence of the best elements of all the current modern education practices that exist. So, you see, for example, ISB has a very management heavy program and curriculum, whereas, across the spectrum, there's something like Ashoka University, which has a very liberal arts based background. So, Vedica is a perfect fusion of both of these, where you're having a management focus. So, you're studying courses like corporate finance, you're studying courses like entrepreneurship, studying courses like digital marketing. But then at the same time, you do have this element of liberal arts, where you're studying philosophy, political science, you're studying courses in communication, you're studying courses in personal growth. So, there's a huge element of this holistic learning that happens, because we need to put all our knowledge that we gain, especially technical knowledge, in context, whether that's engineering knowledge, whether that's medical knowledge, whether that's law, whether that's any of these very technical professions. So having that liberal arts angle helps us put it into context, and putting it into context helps you be a better entrepreneur, helps you be a better employee. We've had several Vedica scholars tell us actually that that blend of liberal arts and management is what allows them to be politically sensitive, what allows them to be sociologically sensitive whenever they're engaging, whether they're engaging in work for a company or whether they're leading their own organization. So that's something that Vedica scholars have actually come back and told us. So that's something that's great about the program. Additionally, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about our unique Shadow a Woman Leader module. And what happens in the Shadow module is we've so let me give you a little bit of background. We believe that, again, we believe in women mentoring other women. We've not seen in the current day and age, you see the statistics for CEOs of men versus women in India, and only 3 out of 100 CEOs in India are women. So, there's not much mentorship for women to give and not much mentorship to gain from senior women leaders, because they just don't exist statistically. So, our mission is to create these women who will work, who will rise to that level. And so, what we've done in this Shadow a Woman Leader program is that we've connected each of our scholars based on their backgrounds, based on their profiles, based on their interest, based on their in preference of sector. So we've created each of these scholars are mapped. We've created a platform where each of these scholars are mapped individually to a senior woman leader at the CXO level. That could be a CEO, that could be a CFO, CMO, CTO, any of these designations, but in different areas and not just within India. So we have some students going to Germany, some students going to Zurich, going to Singapore, going to Hong Kong. So there's an international aspect to the Shadow as well. What the Shadow is, the Shadow of Women Leader program is essentially, um, it's a feature in which the student occupies the role of an EA, which is an executive assistant to the leader that she is shadowing. So you accompany the leader in going to a lot of business meetings, developing a lot of strategies for the company. So that's something that's very, can get very involving and can be a huge insight right even before you're done with the Vedica program into what corporate life is like, into what corporate culture is like. So you have a big relationship with your leader, and we've also seen in many cases that there's a PPO that's also offered, which is a pre-placement offer for a lot of our students. We had a pre-placement offer last year with Western Digital. Western Digital is a company that barely accepts any students who are even 27, 28 years old, but we've had students from Vedica getting a PPO from there just because their performance, they like the students from Vedica so much. So a PPO option does also exist. However, the biggest feature of our Shadow compared to the other Shadow programs that exist is the length. So ISB has a Shadow program. Even within companies, I think Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all of these big corporates also have a shadow program where they try to make the organization flat. So that means the leader, or sorry, the leader, I mean the head of the company gets to be shadowed by someone who's just joined at an entry level, just to get an idea of the organization, get an idea of the culture, idea of the ethos. But that usually happens for a day or only for a week. We're really proud to say that the Vedica Shadow program is for 6 weeks. That's 1.5 months. So what we see is from the shadow experience for students staying for that longer period of time, there's a completely different set of learnings. So not only are you there to see the day-to-day activities such as the how to manage your work life, how to manage business meetings, how to manage strategy, but if you're spending that much time with someone who's at a leadership position, you get to know about the nuances. You get to know about how to manage your time while managing your family, how to manage your children, how to manage a career with work, how to manage work with family. So all these nuances of how to live your life, that's something that's much deeper, that's gained by the scholars in the shadow program. So that's something that we are very proud to say, that this kind of facility can foster these kind of thoughts, these kind of thinking, this kind of learning. So that's something we're very proud to be very proud to say that exists in our program. um, Additionally, I'd like to tell everyone, if you already don't know, there's an option of going overseas with Vedica. So when you're done with your tenure of 18 months and completed the Vedica program, each scholar has an opportunity to attend LCBS, which is Leicester Castle Business School at De Montfort University in London, in United Kingdom. And what students do is, either after completing this 18 months, you can attend it for either one term or two terms, which means either three months or 6 months. So what you do is, all the Vedica credits get transferred to LCBS, and if you work for those additional two terms, you graduate with an additional degree. That's a global MBA degree from Leicester Castle Business School. And it seems to be something that's very novel to me, because you're spending only 3 to 6 months and getting another degree from a foreign university, paying less. That seems to be quite rare in today's education landscape, at least to me. And apart from that, apart from the LCBS module, we see students who graduated Vedika who've worked in India in some companies. For example, they worked 1 or 2 years. We still allow alumni to come back after working. We still allow alumni to come back to complete that additional 6 months LCBS module that's left. So when we speak about community and forming relationships at Vedica, that's something that we really mean. So even our alums are still entitled to the LCBS option. They're still entitled to our career cell. We're very conscious about our alumni. Our alumni community is very strong. As I mentioned before, our mission is to kind of combat gender disparity at the workforce. So our it's a community fight. It only happens if the entire community joins hands together, and each of us has a significant role to play. So I think that's something that will slowly will change, and I'm really proud to be, proud to say that Vedika is sort of spearheading this, because we are trying to create a community of women. We are trying to create a community of women mentors, of leaders, of academicians, of industry experts. I mean, Vedika is scheduled from Tuesday to Saturday, right? It's not from Monday to Friday. And why this is done is because that Saturday is a lot of special guest sessions that happen from senior corporate leaders who do have the time to come down. A lot of a lot of sportswomen, a lot of politicians, a lot of authors. We have a lot of guest sessions at Vedika, and a lot of learnings to take away. And more so than ever is the community, right? I mean, the kind of network that someone forms when they come to Vedika is a network for life. We see such a great interaction between our current batch and our alumni. We see such a great interaction between prospective students who try to reach out to our current batch, or prospective students who try to reach out to our alumni. I mean, we know Vedika is it's quite nascent in terms of its journey, its in its growth. We've only been around for 4 to 5 years, but I think it's Vedika is slowly emerging out of its shell. It's emerging out of its cocoon, and we are soon to grow very fast and become very heard, because Vedika doesn't seem to be heard that much these days in the market. But I'm it seems to me that it's one of the best places for students. A woman student today, any modern Indian woman needs to consider Vedika as a serious option, especially if she's concerned with management education, with getting corporate a job in a corporate or job in a social sector at a leadership position. Also, just want to ask everyone to post any questions you have in the chat. It would be great if I can. I mean, right now I'm giving you an overall summary, but if you have any specific questions, just please put them in the chat and I can address them. If anyone has a specific question for the application or about careers or about orientation or any other thing. Okay. We have some questions rolling in. Uh, okay, so what are the placement statistics for the last batch? Speaking of the batch of 2018, we have our average salary is about 9.25 to 9.3 lakhs. And not just for the last batch, we're actually quite proud that throughout the 3 4 years that we've existed, we've had an average salary of about 9 to 10 lakhs. And that's, commendable for a program that costs 10.25 lakhs for 18 months to have an average salary of 9.5 lakhs in a year. I mean, if you look at, and if you do the math, if you calculate the return on investment, you can clearly see what the gains are from there. Also, highest salary was about 18, 19 lakhs that went to, the lady that was employed with Western Digital. Otherwise, we've had a lot of companies come in from startups being Oyo Rooms, Uber, Moglix. There's different companies that are coming in, hiring at different roles. We've also had very standard companies, very prestigious, esteemed companies like MMTC PAM. We've had Nestle, we've had Nephro Plus, Max Healthcare, for example. All these companies are coming in to hire for roles in marketing. All these companies are coming in to hire for growth roles, for leadership roles. So that's something we see that's very exciting. Our students are placed at. I mean, there are roles that of consultants, of business development, business advisors, but we do see some very unique and interesting roles. Something like capacity builder in the founders team, or growth and strategy with the founders team. And so that's something that's very exciting. And just also to mention that even beyond Vedica, even after your first job, when you do switch and go to your second job or third job, we've seen a very exponential growth. So for example, I recently met an alumni. Her name is Sia. Sia worked after Vedica. She worked with ASG, Albright Stonebridge Corporation, and post that, I think her tenure over there, she went and worked with McKinsey, where she's working at a very senior leadership position, working with the managing director of McKinsey India. So that's something that's great to see, Vedika scholars that are reaching, and scaling these heights. So that's something that's great. Okay, so more questions coming in. How is a day in the life of students at Vedica? I mean, I can answer it to the best of my capacity, but I would say I'll do another live stream with some students maybe where they can narrate their experiences. However, okay, so I'll tell you about the 18 months versus 24 months period. How we've designed it is how most business schools design their curriculum is through a semester based system. So they have semester one, semester two, semester three, semester four, for respectively for each first and second year. Vedika has kind of done away with that semester based system, and what we have is 13 terms of 6 weeks each. So if you calculate that, that completes a total of 18 months. And what we see is that in each term, there's a course from each of the tracks that are offered. For example, term two, term three, term four, each of them will have one course in management, one course in liberal arts, one course in personal growth, and one course in communication. So we kind of structure our curriculum like that. And also, this allows us for having visiting faculty. We have a visiting faculty model in which we ask faculty from different universities like IIM, Harvard, Yale, Stanford to come in, teach our students for that period of 6 weeks, and then do follow-ups remotely. So that allows students at Vedika to experience the best education from the best teachers. That's something that's extremely of vital importance. So our curriculum is designed in such a manner that we're able to impart all this education within the period of 18 months. And how is a day in the life at Vedica? It's hectic. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's rigorous, and what we have to really think about is we do need, students do work in very hectic jobs. Post this they go work as consultants in Deloitte, KPMG, etc., etc. So ours over there are also very demanding. So we do want to give that kind of training to our scholars, in which they develop a capacity of stamina to work, a capacity of stamina of concentration. So there are subtle elements in education that we do think if we address, we can prepare students better for the workforce, and that all has been thought through at Vedica. And that's something that we see that kind of has a direct reciprocal effect. That if you're in class from say 9:30 to 6 o'clock, going back, you're doing a lot of group assignments. That week is really hectic. You have say 5 or 6 assignments coming up. That kind of stressful experience within such a diverse community of women, that's a huge bonding experience. So we see students from, again, let me give you a background of the cohort. We have students all the way from 21 to 35. We have students from different geographical backgrounds. We have students from different educational backgrounds. We have students who are married. We have students who have worked for 4 years. Some students haven't worked at all. So having such a mixture of people who are from different areas, and such a diversity really helps in the bonding experience, because when they go through the Vedika journey, which is quite hectic, quite rigorous, quite academically intense, it really helps in the bonding experience. Really, kind of the peer learning element of it really shines through, and I think that's something that Vedika really really prides itself on, is the peer learning aspect of it. I mean, you do learn courses in class, you do have your lectures, you do have practical experiences within those lectures, but it's those moments where when you go back to the hostel with a new friend that you've made, and they tell you about an experience, say they had in their city, and how they've understood something in class that has explained that experience. So you kind of understand more at a cultural level, you understand more at a human level, and these are the kind of takeaways that Vedika or any sort of program that that offers any value should give, is the kind of community, the kind of network, the kind of peer learning that scholars can take away from one another. So that's something that's again a vital aspect, a central aspect of the program. Please keep the questions coming in. We'd love to address more questions. No, okay, so there's an age restriction question. No, there are actually no age restrictions. We encourage women all the way to 32, 33, 34, 35 plus to also apply. What we usually see is a lot of students coming in straight after college. That's say a sizable percentage of our batch. But then we also do see students who work for say 2 to 3 years coming in looking for a career switch. And let me talk to you about some, switching, not exactly switching, but shifting and realigning your careers. So one thing that's really, that's something that's very cool about Vedika that I can see is the application process. What we do is we don't ask for GMAT or CAT or GRE, and we don't have an application fee. So not having an application fee, number one, helps us reach out our application to everyone from tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. We encourage a lot of students from at risk backgrounds to apply, because we want to create that diversity in our cohort. That's point number one. And point number two is you know I feel that Vedika in general, the kind of quality of students that it intakes, everyone is selected on the basis of their passion and potential instead of their performance. So that GRE, GMAT, CAT score, what we see is that if there is a student who studied humanities from class 10 and then goes into say philosophy or English literature or political science at a good college, wherever, I mean that can be LSR, Kamla Nehru, Shivnadar, all across, we say that they graduate and they're trying to look for for work options. They're trying to look for different areas. Unless they're very particular on being academic and they want to explore more options with companies, they want to explore more options with other startups, for example, or even if they want to explore setting up something of their own. they don't have to go back and study, say, maths again from class 10 to, learn about all fractions, decimal, calculus, all of that nonsense. And just there's no requirement of that. So our application process, we ask you your basic details, and then you come to Vedica, or we have a telephonic conversation or a Skype conversation with our founder, with our assistant director, with our placement director. And what we see is that we test all of these qualities within the application process, within the interview itself. We'll ask you your views on women empowerment in the workforce. We'll ask you your views on what the current state of women at work is today in India, and we'll ask you some very hard-hitting questions that really allows us to filter and see, if a student is actually ready for the Vedica program. Actually, we've recently reduced the size of our application as well, and we've kind of re-energized the interview process because we feel that's the best way to kind of assess candidates. So, if any of you are interested in applying, please go to the website. I'm sure you'll be able to complete the new application within, say, half an hour. And that might seem basic, but when you do come to the interview rounds, you'll see the kind of questions we ask, you'll see the kind of assignments we give, on the spot assignments. That really forces an applicant to think. But coming back to the switching aspect, so say someone has done literature, or say someone has done philosophy, they can still come to Vedica, study management, and then get placed at, say, Max Healthcare as a product manager. That's a role that engineers die for, right? But someone from literature, from a literature background, has got that role. So we don't really believe in segregating on the basis of what you've studied, on the basis of your educational background. So students coming in, they see different, they see students from different areas. So again, that peer learning element of it. Say you go in for a math class at Vedica, someone who studied engineering can really help out students with math. But say then when you do an op-ed, or when you do a book review, that same student who helped you out with math might struggle. So it's your turn to step in. It's your turn to help out with your lit skills, your research skills, the editing skills. So that kind of peer learning is something that we really try to foster at Vedica. So that allows for students who study different things to come into and have a chance at cracking these really hotshot jobs at corporates, at some great companies as well. Any more questions? You can keep rolling them in. Okay, so we got a question for the Vedica Writing and Communication Center, which I have to personally say is one of my favorite elements at Vedica. So let me begin by saying I had spoken about the semester-based system, right, at different MBA colleges. And what usually happens is we see in semester one they'll put in business communications one, and in semester three they'll put in business communications two, and that's it. So you have two modules of business communication, and then at the end you're expected to be a pro. But that's usually not the case. And what Vedica has done is we've again done away with the semester system. We've done away with this kind of thought process. The Vedica Writing and Communication Center works with each student on a personal basis, on a one-to-one basis, throughout the entire 18 months. So that's the biggest difference that you first see. That it's not a post-style engagement; it's more of a writing lab style engagement, in which you're not just putting in assignments. You can talk to our tutors about how you want to improve how you speak, or how you give presentations, or how you write emails. So we sensitize you to these different kinds of topics. LinkedIn workshops, resume workshops, how to write good emails, how to make your work speak for itself. Visibility at the workforce doesn't come always through arrogance. It comes through good work itself. So that's something that the writing center really like inculcates and really drives in that point. I just want to mention that we had students from Guntur and Hisar, I think, last year, and they weren't too confident with when they came in. At least they weren't too confident with their presentation skills. They weren't too confident with their English abilities, English speaking abilities. And after 18 months, what I've seen is the through the writing center, through these personalized one-on-one sessions, they're now at KPMG, they're now at Deloitte, making boardroom presentations to directors and stuff. So it's a complete change. That the writing center has really helped out in terms of transforming an individual's communication, transforming their written skills, helping them to think critically about ideas. The writing center really does a great job here. I think it's something that's very unique, never seen before. A writing lab that helps you with communication, and something that's very central at Vedica is, and I'm sure you'll find 99% of the world telling you that communication and all of all the skills in communication are all soft skills. They call this term soft skills, and we completely disagree with that, because we reject that term completely, because we think it's one of the most important skills in the world today. And we see that leadership, earlier on it was defined through traits of, say, aggression, power, which are very male centric traits, and now we feel leadership is shifting to qualities which has, conscience, empathy, compassion, which is more feminine centric traits, which we believe in that style of leadership, that leaders have to have compassion. Leaders should be conscientious. Leaders should be conscious of the environment, their company, their society, etc. So it's all about giving back to the community while making an impact, which is why Vedika is so special. Vedika is not just another MBA school, right? It's an institution with a social impact value, extremely high social impact value, right? The story of women in India is changing. We've seen with the last 2 3 years with what's happening with the great progress that's being made, empowering women in India, educating women in India. I think that's great progress. But what we're seeing is that at the corporate level, women from a mid senior to senior level are slowly dropping off. And what we see is that, again, as I mentioned, the statistic, which is only 3 in 100 women are CEOs. So, there's a clear lack there. Even though urban education of women is increasing, but there's still a drop over there. So that kind of gender gap over there, that gender discrimination at the top level, at the mid senior to senior level in corporate workforces, that is what something that we want to change. We want to educate women so well that they stay in their careers, they keep their careers as something that's central in their life, that's something they can manage alongside other aspects of their life. Okay, I'm looking at some more questions. Uh, Internship opportunities. All right. So the internship opportunity is essentially the shadow of woman leader module that I spoke about. So what happens, again, I can give a quick summary, is that for a 6 week period, you are become an executive assistant to senior women leader in and outside India, both depending on your preference, depending on your background, depending on your interest. We've had leaders such as Gunjan Soni from Mintra. We've had leaders go to Deloitte, for example, in London. We've had leaders like, for example, this year we have Mrs. Vishali Nigam Sinha of Renew Power, which is organization that works in solar energy and renewable energy, which is great. Just to see someone at that level, within that kind of sphere, wanting women students to mentor, wanting to have this kind of tutor mentor relationship. So that's something that's amazing that we see. Okay, so some of the questions are coming in about scholarships. Great. So let me talk to you about how the process works. Uh, if you want to note it down, please note it down. However, I think it would be outlined very clearly on our website under the admissions procedure tab. So how it works is, first you register. I'll walk you through the entire application process. First, you go to the website and you register. You will get a VS ID and a password. It'll be an automatic email that will come to you right after you register. You have to take that VS ID and password, go back to the website at which you registered. There will be a already registered, please continue to your application button over there. Click that button, input your VS ID, input your password, and it'll take you to the Vedica application page. Once you're there, you have to complete the entire Vedica application, which consists of personal details, details on work experience, details on education, extra co-curricular details. We also ask for your resume or CV as well. And once you've completed that, once you reach that figure of 100%, it'll tell you within the application itself that how much percentage it's completed. Once you reach 100%, then you reach application completed status. That's when the Vedica team will get in touch with you about your interview process. So if you're based within Delhi NCR, then we would like to have you come to our office for an interview, come to our campus for an interview. And if you're without Delhi, if you're outside Delhi NCR, then we usually have a Skype interview and a telephonic interview. And depending on the candidate, we can vary the rounds. It either varies from 2 to 3 rounds generally, but for each candidate, we make it extremely selective. Again, it's a one-to-one kind of deep personal interview, deep personal engagement that happens. So once, say, you get selected through the interview, we'll be sending you an offer letter, and the offer letter at Vedica is, it's something that is an offer letter of acceptance. So you have to sign that offer letter and send that along with your initial security deposit. That initial security deposit can also be, I mean, it's variable. It depends on you. You can pay it up at one shot. You can divide it into 2 amounts. You can divide it into 3 amounts. So Vedica is completely flexible with finances that way. But so say, once you paid your initial security deposit, then at that stage you are opened up to the scholarship process. What is the scholarship process at Vedica? So Vedica offers two kinds of scholarship. One is a merit-based scholarship. The merit-based scholarship works on giving scholarship on the basis of a student's meritorious activities. What that means is that could be good performance in, say, an Olympiad, or excellent extracurricular achievements, and similar sort of stuff. But the second, and I would say, more used option at Vedica is the need-based scholarship system. And what that means is it's based on a family's need. So we ask someone if they're applying for a need-based or merit-based. And if you're applying for a need-based scholarship, what you need to do is you need to send the ITR, which is an income tax return, and let us know of the family's financial background. And if a student is actually deserving of studying at Vedica and she cannot afford it, then that's when the need-based scholarships kick in. Because Vedika, we will cut down the fees specifically for that student, and because she cannot afford it but deserves to be at the program. And we were very happy to let you know that since last year we've instituted many patrons. We have a lot of patronage at Vedika, so that means a lot more scholarships will be instituted. About 30% of our batch last year got scholarships, so we're looking to up that number, because again, as I mentioned, we're interested in diversity. We're interested in students coming to us from different backgrounds, and of course not all of them can afford this kind of education. So we really make it a point to have a lot of scholarships on the basis of need and have a lot of deserving students at the program. Let me just kind of say this again: finance should be no hindrance to apply at Vedica. I mean, that is very visible just because we've kept no application form fee. So if we were concerned about finances and making money, we would try to do it at every angle, but it's really not the case. If someone deserves to study at Vedica, they will study at Vedica. Money, no issue. Like, finances should not be a part of or any concern of yours when applying to the process. Any more questions? Please, you can kind of keep them rolling. I'm glad that I'm answering specific doubts, and I really want anyone who has any specific questions with say uh, what the hostel life is like or what student life is like. I've been through the entire application process. Yeah, okay, so let me do this. I'd want to talk to you about financial aid at Vedica and the return on investment figure I mentioned earlier. First off, let me say this, that Vedica's expense, as you've seen on the website, is 10.25 lakhs for the entire 18 months. First, let me make it clear that it's all inclusive. That includes your hostel, that includes your travel, that includes the food, that includes the tuition fee, that includes any miscellaneous cost that's attached to it. So it's completely all inclusive. If it's an 18-month program, so that's 10.25 for 18, and if you approximately calculate and see, that makes it about 6.8, 6.9 per year. And if you look at our average salary, which is 9.5 a year, so any student, just if you can just do the math and see, it's a greater than 100% return on interest. And we've seen a lot of students who've paid back their entire educational loan amounts within the first year of working. That's it. That's extremely rare. They get a great job for 12, 13 lakhs, 15 lakhs, and they're able to take out their Vedica loan within the first year itself. And speaking of loans now, so I'll tell you of the two options that we have. First option is with IDBI Bank in Rajouri Garden. What option of financial loan we have with them is you're allowed up till 4.5 lakhs to take a collateral free loan. That means you can completely take the loan, no, no, uh, in no points over there, up till 4.5 lakhs. Up till 7.5 lakhs, you need a third party guarantor, still collateral free, which is, something quite rare to see in today's day and age. So collateral free up till 7.5 lakhs. After 7.5 lakhs, you do require some collateral. But up till 7.5 lakhs, which is an amount that most of our students usually take, it's all collateral free. And as I mentioned, it's paid back within the first year. Our second option is we have an affiliation with an NBFC, Credence, which works specifically in the education sector, and they work in helping students connect with different areas that provide them a great return, provide them with a great interest rate. And yeah, I mean, both of our organizations that are working for us understand what Vedica is and what Vedica represents. And what it is a shift of consciousness. It's a shift of people's thought. People who are upset with the education system, people who are upset with this way that the corporates are functioning. It's a complete rejection of, say, standard, antiquated values. That's something we really don't believe in. We Let me tell you this, that we feel modern education should reshape itself to correct for the underrepresentation of women at the workforce, and that is what Vedika is. Any more questions? Please keep them rolling in. I'm really enjoying asking a lot of these questions. Again, questions about careers, hostel, some of the courses, for example, some of the faculty. Uh, I've mentioned guest series. I've mentioned an Ayata speaker series. I've mentioned our guest lectures. For all of you who have attended the live stream, we'd love for you to kind of let us know when you're free on Saturday. Let us know when you're free within the week. We have a lot of these guest lectures that are coming up, a lot of these speaker series events that are coming up that we'd like for you to come and attend and have an experience in the Vedika classroom. We go so far as to for us we go so far to say that any applicant who comes and has an interview process at Vedika, we are we're open enough to tell her that if you want to go attend some courses, if you want to attend some classes, you can. So we're open enough for students who are potential applicants to enter the classroom, experience what a day in Vedika is like, speak to the students, speak to the alumni, speak to the faculty, speak to the program team. We are here for you. We are here for your help. And it's all about, again, as I mentioned, all of us are there for that singular purpose of creating that cadre of women that can combat this wicked problem of ours in society. That's great. So I think some of the questions I've kind of looked at, I've answered them, and I'm really happy that a couple of you decided to join a couple of you decided to join the chat. A couple of you, are on this webinar and have expressed interest in Vedika. Something I'd really like to implore and tell you and kind of uh, put it out there in the universe is that please apply soon. We have only 30% of our seats that are left for the upcoming batch. Again, Vedika is growing, it's expanding, but we're still concerned about personalized attention. We're still concerned about features like student faculty ratio, right? So what we do over here is that we're accepting, say, a larger batch than last time, but again, we're very concerned about these kind of things. So we do have a very limited number of seats left. About 30% of our seats is left. That's the figure I can release for you. And yeah, please, if you take something away from this live stream, it's that please go back and apply ASAP, because again, first of all, it's a rolling admissions process. So I mean, even though we did have our rounds and phases, the rolling admissions process means that the earlier you apply, the better is your chance at admission. So again, what we do is we have a very efficient and systematic process of application and interviews, and we keep that engagement consistently running right from when our admissions process start right till the admissions process end. So I'd encourage all of you to, again, if you have 30 minutes in the day, 40 minutes in the day, go to the Vedica website, go through the steps I spoke about a little while ago about registering, getting your IDs, logging back on, completing the application form, and then just leave it on to us. We'll get back with you, fix an interview day or fix an interview time slot where we can call you or meet you and take the process forward from there. For everyone else, I think we encourage for you to spread the word about Vedica because again, it's part of that community to fight this problem is also you. We need you to talk to your friends. We need you to talk to your family. We need you to talk to your mom, for example. Ask her why women, so many women, like say 20 years ago, 30 years ago, decided to leave their careers just for raising their family or just for for the kids. I mean, we need to ask these questions. We need to kind of create this stir within society. We need to kind of remind everyone that there's such a big disparity that exists. Only let me tell everyone this that I found this insane statistic that said within from 2005 to 2012 about 20 million Indian women dropped out of the workforce. 20 million Indian women. That's the size of Sri Lanka. So that's just crazy to think about. And I'm really glad that institutions like Vedica are being set up and are spearheading this fight into correcting these statistics. We need more women at the workforce. It's classically been proven by many research studies that an equal or almost greater balance of women to men in an organization is the most optimal point of functioning. And we need corporates to realize that, which they slowly are. Vedica is serving as the perfect platform for them to recruit, world class and exceptionally trained women who have a lot of who have a very great and sharp business sense. So that's something that we really like inculcating in our scholars as well. Yeah, I think it's almost time for us to wind up now. But it's been great talking to everyone, and I'd like for everyone to again please go to our website. We have only 30% seats left. Please apply ASAP. Tell your friends, tell your family, spread the network. Oh, sorry, spread the message in your network. And yeah, if you have any doubts, you can visit our Facebook page. You can go to facebook.com/the Vedica Scholars Program for Women. You can write to us at info@vedicascholars.com. Other contact details will be mentioned in our website right at the bottom in the footer, so you can go and contact us there. And we'd love for anyone to talk about anything about careers, shadow, about faculty. If you want to come down, attend a guest session, attend a class, perhaps we would be open to that. And we really, I mean, I really enjoyed answering some of these doubts in the live stream. And as I mentioned, let's fix this problem that 3 out of 100 CEOs should be. It's a skewed ratio, and it should be 50 and 50 or way more. Like it really depends. At least we're confident that we started the process to start changing the system. We'd love for you to come check out the campus, check out some of the lectures, check out some of the guest lectures. Uh, we'd love for you to come out to our events. It's been great. I think the kind of mission that Vedica has. Again, as I mentioned, it's not just your regular MBA school where people are getting in, getting out, getting a job. It's all about having an impact. It's all about the network. It's all about the community. It's about your friends. It's about the bonding experiences. It's about those 3 a.m. late night coffee sessions where you're crying because you can't finish an assignment. I mean, you're not going to take back, sitting in another class for half an hour, but you will take back those moments where you spent, a walk late at night at 4 a.m. with your friend after you finished your work, talking about an assignment or something like that. You will take those moments back with you and stay with those, and then those will stick with you in life. And Vedica is that place that can kind of create that atmosphere, that safe space that kind of allows women to talk about any issue they perceive. And again, have we're very proud to have like this kind of program, this kind of this kind of program, this kind of facility that's available for all the scholars. Okay, so I've seen two more questions. Let me just answer them very quickly, and then I'll end this webinar. So the first one is about the hostel. Someone's asking if it's compulsory to stay in the hostel from Delhi. Yes, it is compulsory to stay in the hostel. It's a residential program, and why that's done is primarily because of two reasons. Number one is, first of all, your classes are going to run till say about 6:30, and post that it's going to be a lot of group work, a lot of practical assignments, a lot of group work. So what we really see is that because scholars need to be together in one space to do a lot of these things. We've seen a lot of students from Delhi, and I'm sure I can get students to come here and attest to the same fact. Is when they start living in hostel, they don't want to go back home because they just enjoy the hostel life so much. And you may be thinking that it's inconvenient for me to come just because I live in Delhi to come to the hostel. But trust me, the residential experience is where it's at. That's what is one of the core parts of Vedica. That's where the hostel life, the student life, the peer learning all kicks in from there. So that's an essential component of Vedica, and it's a mandatory, it's a 100% mandatory aspect of the program that it is a residential program. Okay, the other question speaks about student-teacher ratio. Apologies. As I mentioned, student-teacher ratio is something that's of incredible importance to us. So what we do is, first of all, each professor in class has 1 to 2 TAs. So these teaching assistants are part of the Vedica program team, and they help the professor disseminate their course, handle grading, handle assignments, etc., etc. And so our Vedica batch is, it depends on the class, but it's either the whole batch together or it's either divided into sections. So what you'll see, I'd say for the class of 2020 is, one professor handling 35 to 40 students, and one professor and 3 TAs. So that's ideally a ratio of, say 3:30 or 3:38 or 3:40, around that much. So we see a 1 to 10, 1 to 15 ratio. That's what we're approximating it as. Because again, the teaching assistants also handle a large part of the course, and it works. They are usually the interface between the students and the teachers. So again, as I mentioned, the visiting faculty model exists. So we have some very competent TAs that can, disseminate and help and plan courses and teach courses, and it's a great experience. Yeah. Okay, great. I think that wraps up all the questions. We've streamed for almost 50 minutes. Thank you for sticking around, for the people who've stuck around. It's been a good experience for me. It's my first live stream as well. I think it went pretty well. Uh, it was a good discussion in the chat as well. Again, thanks for talking to me. Do remember to apply ASAP. Get to the website, fill up your form, wait for us to get back to you with an interview slot. And we hope that you engage with Vedica in terms of guest sessions, in terms of speaker series, in terms of coming and attending a class, and just spread the word. Tell your parents, tell your extended family, tell your friends about Vedica. It's no way a Vedic program about the Vedas or anything. We've got that query already, but it's a reformational and transformational management course for the modern Indian woman of today, which I think at least every Indian woman should consider. Okay, thank you everyone. It's been a great time. I'm happy that I was able to answer a lot of your questions. I will be back soon. We'll probably be doing a weekly seminar stream. So please do bring in a lot more of your friends, a lot more of your doubts, a lot more of your questions, and I'll see you hopefully within a week or so. Bye.